And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Talk podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Reno. Alongside me, co-host Dan Kiley. Very special guest this, I guess, afternoon. I'm used to saying evening, but it's the afternoon. Ken Robinson, Mill Creek running back, 2020, a class of 2024. We appreciate you for joining us. Cam, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. How you guys doing?
Not bad at all. It's a nice setup here. Usually it's just Dan and I virtually, but we got an in-person guest today. Obviously, I'm virtual, but Dan's there with him. Dan, I'll let you take it away. Dan, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. And you know what? This is a really great opportunity for us. And I love that we have the opportunity to highlight this young man right here. So long story short, Kenan started playing football at Mill Creek when he was 6 years old. And that means Cam was 8 years old. I really started paying attention to him about 9. I guess you were with what team were you on at 9?
Coach Thad Joyner?
Yeah, with Coach Joyner. And when I tell you the first couple times I saw him play, it was like the Madden character that you would create, and it's like not fair for everybody else. Like, I don't. What is the most touchdowns you had in a youth football game?
Either 5 or 6.
Right, it had to be because it was ridiculous. Like it was like they didn't create a Cam rule, but they probably should have because this man was just absolutely murdering people. And it's one of those things where when you saw Caleb Downs when he was very young, it looked very, very easy for him. When you saw Cam very young, it was very, very easy for him. And a lot of people thought. And a lot of people talked about that, eventually everybody would catch up to him. Well, they didn't. But, it was a lot of fun. You played on a great team. You're surrounded by great teammates. That's never changed. You've always had great teammates. But tell us about that youth football experience and how that made you grow as a player.
Just having a family bond with players that knowing that I wouldn't be playing with them in high school. Just having that friendship with Coach Thad, teaching us how to be men at such a young age. Really matured me and some players on that football team that I played with eventually in college, like Aiden, Bryce Conway, and all of us. So Coach Thad really took into the bigger picture instead of just like, yeah, I'm just going to go out there and teach kids just how to play football. I'm going to teach them how to be good at football, be good role models on and off the field, and be great young men. So Coach Thad really laid the foundation for me and some other teammates that I played with in high school.
And it didn't hurt that you guys were pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So, you guys played for the championship almost every year, did you not?
No.
We
only played for a championship 1 year.
Oh, it was that Loganville team, right?
Loganville team, Buford. Loganville and Buford were the team to beat every single year.
We won't talk about Buford.
Yeah.
What you got here?
I guess first question is, what made you get into football? Like, what attracted you at that, such a young age? Obviously, I mean, it's around you, but what got Cam interested?
So I was really deep into football when I was young. I saw my older brother Joe play football, and he came to me and Harrison was like, "Y'all should just try it out and just see how it is." And ever since I put on that helmet, I ain't looked back.
Dan has obviously told me, we talked about it before you came on here. You aren't the only child. You got some inter-family competition there. Tell us about those young days growing up, like the backyard football games. Like you be putting up those rushing yards back then too.
With me and my brothers, we always wanted to win. So whenever we had competitions with each other, it will always finish with us fighting or something. And then my mom will always have to get on us or put in some time on everything. But growing up, it was very competitive between me and all my brothers.
And listen, Mama rules that roost. There's no mistake about that. She has got the biggest genuine smile, and that's where the boys get the smile from. Is she always has a smile when you see her. She's always got a hug for you. She's a really, really positive person and just a real loving mother. And I mean, what a great role model growing up in the house to have your mom around because, like I said, his mom lights up a room, and you get where the kids get it from because they have this look. The smile, it comes out. It's like a megawatt smile. He has it. Harrison has it. I don't know Joe as much. Christian has it.
Yeah.
But they're all insanely athletic, insanely talented. One of the things that I know that you and your brother have talked about in the Gwinnett Post and some other places is that, Harrison wanted an opportunity to create his own path, right? Yeah. So was there any concern with your older brother, Joe, being in front of you? Were you worried about people comparing you to Joe, or were you just always so confident that you're like, I'm just going to be me anyway?
Yeah, I came in knowing I was going to be me. I knew like 8th grade year, 7th grade year that I had a different playing style than Joe. So we couldn't really be compared the same way because he was more of a bruiser back. I was more of a finesse back. So, I mean, yeah, that's how I always kind of say it or kind of put it out like that.
Now, with you and Harrison, so many of you do know and many of you don't know, Harrison is a year younger, or a year younger. And he is a sophomore at second year high school, and he decided to create his own path.
Yeah.
And an extremely talented back. He was Cannon's running back when Cannon was in rec league. Cannon and Harrison were really good friends, and we desperately wanted him to come to Mill Creek. But he's creating his own path. So now that you've gone through, you've had your opportunity to play. What is it easy for you to be a mentor to your brother? Is it one of those things where he doesn't want to talk to you about it? To explain the dynamic that you have with Harrison.
I'll say me and Harrison are the closest out of all my brothers, just because me and him have the same thing in common and have the same goals. So it's not hard. It's not hard mentoring him because I want him to be a better version of me, and I want him to be that for himself also. So, nah, not at all. I would say.
All right,
Cam, let's get into kind of the growth state of when you went you obviously went from GFL to middle school, and correct me if I'm wrong here. It stops in 8th grade, right? After 8th grade, y'all are done with GFL. They age out.
Yes.
What was that transition like? Obviously, you go into Mill Creek as a freshman. A lot of talent. There's always talent there. You got a lot of fellow D1 athletes there. What was that transition like for you coming up?
It was a very hard transition, especially going into college. I mean, not college, high school in the COVID era. So, I didn't get the real experience of what high school felt like, being around different personalities and everything, because nobody was at school. It was really just football players. But the competition on the field was very high. It's especially the competition was very high. My 9th grade year with Josh, bouncing out running back reps with Josh, splitting out receiver reps with Justin, playing a little quarterback if I needed to. So, yeah.
I do.
That's one of the things that people don't realize is that when Cam first got to high school, they were trying to figure out a way to get him on the field, and they didn't necessarily know exactly what that was going to be. So he was kind of a jack of all trades those first year and a half, where they had him playing split out a little bit. They had him in the backfield. Like you said, he played some Wildcat quarterback. I mean, he did whatever they asked him to do. And that's one of the things that endears me to kids like Cam is, listen, we know he's extremely talented, right? And it's hard. And this is me speaking. This is not him speaking. But it's hard for a guy who's that talented to know he's not doing something that is his primary thing, but he's willing to do it because he is a team guy, a team first guy. And that's the one thing that I have come on here and preached over and over and over again. That's the one thing I love about Mill Creek kids in particular is they are team first guys, and they sacrifice a lot for the team. And the coaches know that, everybody knows that. And it really endears you to them because they are willing to do whatever it is that they're asked to do. So Cam, like I know between that sophomore and junior year, they asked you to put on some weight.
Yeah.
And that's not easy for a kid to do. So talk about that transition of being kind of the gadget guy to being the full-time running back.
It was a lot of weight putting on my shoulders, going from just going to school and not even eating breakfast to eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in between class, scarfing down food, and then have practice. Once I get out of practice, I'm still eating. So constantly eating, which was a thing I wasn't really into back in the day, was kind of hard. And then going from, okay, Karen, you're just a blowout player, fourth quarter, 2 minutes left in the game, so you're going to be our starting running back next year. It was a lot, but I was ready for the challenge. I knew my team needed me, and I had to step up.
And, that gaining weight part is so hard to do. Yeah. And, I mean, there's so many different kids that are asked to gain weight. It's very, very difficult. Your mentality in the weight room. Talk about your mentality in the weight room.
I just know your weight room, what you do in the weight room transitions onto the field. If you're not constantly getting better, getting stronger, getting quicker in the weight room, then it's going to show on the football field. So I just knew that in the weight room, I had to take it very seriously if I wanted to take football seriously next year in high school, my junior year.
First question for me when we get into like football specifics, and I'm gonna turn on the highlight tape here in a minute. Dan has talked about it when we watched it privately off screen with you, and then before you got there. Take us through some of the balance training, man. What do you be doing? You just be standing on like those yoga balls, like the half yoga balls, to try and keep your balance. Like what's the workout plan there?
Have yoga ball, throwing tennis balls. Make sure while I'm on the yoga ball. Also, what else did I used to do? I don't really know, really.
It's natural. It comes natural.
Basically, I think.
So, who are some of the guys that you trained with outside of the Mill Creek circle?
DeAndre Swift, Mom is new. I just trained with Moose today, the punt returner from Georgia. Dylan, KJ, some of the Buford guys, some kids I hung out with in the GFL days. So yeah, a whole bunch of local people. I mean, I trained my trainer Drew. He really helps bring in pro athletes from around the country to not only give us a feel of what it looks like, but also have them mentor us into what college coaches and NFL coaches would want to see when we get to that level.
Hey, you can give your trainer a shout out. Go ahead and give him a shout out.
Drew Johnson, he's the best trainer out. He gets me, everybody on my team, local kids, everybody right. He's going to be straight up and honest with you. He's not going to be one of those trainers that just sit back and just watch you fail. He wants everybody that comes in through him to succeed and be at the best of their ability.
And those trainers are so important in these days because the high school coaches do a great job. I mean, Coach Lovelady, his staff, they do an amazing job with the kids, but they're limited on how much time they can actually have contact with you. And there are certain things that they're going to tell you, I need you to get better at. Right. And when they tell you, I need you to get better at, that doesn't mean that you're going to do it here at practice. It means when you come back to me, you better have this figured out.
Right.
So those trainers are really, really, really important, Harrison. And we're seeing that market, it has boomed, right? And there's certain guys who do a great job and there's certain guys who don't. And some guys are just all about the money. And, that's one of the first things that I notice with trainers is when you go to them, if the first thing they start talking about is money, kind of a red flag goes up, but like a lot of times with these great trainers, they're like, listen, this is where your kid's at. This is where we got to get, this is how we're going to get there. And then, they, especially with the kids this age, not granted, this is a young man right here. We're sitting next to a grown man now, but when he's in 7th and 8th grade, how they interconnect with those trainers is everything, because if they don't feel that bond with them, then they're not going to really put in the work. And so that's really important. So when a guy like this says this guy's really important, then you need to listen to that, because that guy's really important. But, when we watch your high school tape, and we're going to do that here in a minute, do you ever, I kind of want you to talk about your recruiting experience. Like, how does that work? Do you have an opportunity to sit down and watch tape with these guys? Do they ask you about tape, or is it really informal right now? Talk about it.
Recruiting is just more of like a background, getting to know me, my family, what they do, what they work, what I want to major in college. We haven't really got down to the let's watch film, what would you do here and here. They will ask me certain plays that I would like running concepts and all that, but we haven't really got onto the film and all that yet.
Cam, getting in more of the football specifics, what's your strengths as a football player? Like, what if it's, 4th down, game on the line, like what is it you're going to rely on, whether it's a trait, whether it's something mentally, like what is it that makes you better than the rest? What separates you?
I think it's my mindset, knowing that I just have a fire going into every game, telling myself that putting everything in God's hands, I'm gonna be the best player out here. I mean, God's had my back my whole life, and He never fails. So, just going out there and putting everything in God's hands, and Him letting everything out and showing everybody in the stadium how I play and how I do my thing. Never fails. He never fails me.
What are some of the areas of your game that you're really focused on improving right now? Like, we know your balance is incredible. Your vision is incredible. What are some of the things that like, I'm not telling you that anybody else told you this, but like, what are some things that when you evaluate yourself, you're like, I need to get better?
When I get out in the open field, have extra gear.
Okay.
Getaway speed. Also, I tend sometimes if I mess up a play, I tend to get in my head a little bit. So just blocking out all the extra space and just remembering that I have another player ahead of me. And just I gotta just flush it and just move on from it. Also, I'll probably say blocking bigger guys because I would tend to just let them go one way and force it. And me knowing how strong I am, I could probably be able to take them. So those are probably some things I need to improve on this year.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and turn on this tape real quick, and then we're gonna get into some recruitment specific questions, obviously about that. But Cam, if you want to walk us through it, I know Dan has a favorite play. I think we all have a favorite play from this senior season highlight tape. Cam, if there's anything specific you want me to rewind, I can do that. Yeah, I mean this thing it gets pretty sick here in a little bit. This one specifically, I don't know how you don't fall down right here. That's like the first thing. It's the first play. I'm like, how does he not go down? No clue.
Yeah, this is my favorite play. It's like, bro, there's 8 guys trying to get their hands on you, and you're like, yeah, no, bye.
They didn't want to tackle me, so. And they didn't want to tackle me. I'm just keep on running.
And listen, I've been telling you guys all year long, this kid's thighs are like tree trunks. Like, good luck. A great job by your offensive line right there.
Yeah.
Cam, what is your favorite run concept? I'm curious. I saw a counter there. What, little outside zone? Like what's your favorite?
I like
run?
outside zone and 51-52. Basically, in outside zone, just try to make the defense wrong, even though like they're doing their assignments. Like they see the line, shoot one way, shoot. If you turn your back, I'm cutting up.
Back that one up. Back that one up. I want to go back to that North Gwinnett play because we were talking to Cam before we went live, and I asked him. I said, "Is there ever anything that you've done on the field where you're like, I don't know how I just did that?" You said this was one of them.
Well,
walk us through this.
I knew it was going to be a cut up based on the way how number 5 on the defensive line was shooting in. He was sniping in almost every play.
Bro, that's insane.
I
don't know. I mean, you're right. Sometimes it's just like you said, God's got you.
Yeah. I just don't think I just do.
Attaboy.
And I just hoped it worked. And that play it did a lot.
A lot.
Cam, football specific, like when you go into the week, when you're watching these teams, when you're preparing for your opponent, like what are the things as a running back you're looking for on tape? Like, is it tendencies on how these D linemen play some certain concepts, or is it you're like, oh man, here's the guppy, I'm gonna run this guy over?
Well, I tend to pick out the weakness on the defense most of the times on run plays, and then also go back and watch film on other teams on how their success was in the run game, and I would talk to coach to see if we could throw it in there. Because if this team could do it, I know my own line's better. So if it works for that team, then it's obviously going to work for our team. And yeah, so like Camden County, my coach told me that whichever foot's backwards, they tend to slant that way. So then I started picking it up most of the game, and then I started getting my run groove in. So just depending, I mean, it's really just the linebackers, depending on how the linebackers play, because I know my O-line is going to handle the front 4 or 3 or whatever front they play with.
Your vision is just absolutely incredible on some of these plays. I mean, we see talented running backs all the time, but some of these plays this is all you. I mean, taking nothing away from offensive line, they helped you out significantly, but some of these secondary runs, that's all you, brother.
Yeah.
This is another crazy one. I remember this is Parkview.
And Parkview was big too.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, and listen, tell me the kid's not fast. Tell me he's not fast. I mean, I got tape that says you're lying.
Oh, this is it. This is it. I want to highlight this one real quick. Cam's not even getting the ball. Cam's not even getting the ball. Well, look how he just turns on the Jets here. You can visibly see it. Like he speeds up right there.
Boom. Well,
touchdown
he was
block.
a one-man wrecking crew right there for Greg.
Cam, I asked you this earlier. I asked you off screen. But I'm gonna ask you here, so you can feel free to repeat your answer. Who you watching these days at running back? Like, who's your guy that you say, I want to be like this guy, or I want to study this guy because either you see a lot of yourself in them, or you're trying to emulate what they do.
Alvin Kamara. I see myself in him a little bit, just based on how the balance work, his vision, how he makes people, how his finesses in the open field. It really reminds me of him, and he's from Georgia too, right up the street, Norcross.
So we have a question here from one of our viewers. He says, do you think of yourself as a 3-down back? Are you comfortable making plays out of the passing game? I know the answer to this, but go ahead and speak on that.
I think I'm a 3-down back. I think with what most coaches haven't seen is how I'm able to work at the backfield. You can split me out in the slot, and I could be a nightmare on a linebacker or a safety.
That's one of the things that they highlighted on the ESPN game, was that you're so comfortable catching the ball out of the backfield because you did, which many, maybe at the time we thought it was a detriment, but that time that you spent as a flanker or a split end or whatever, that's really helped you out of the backfield.
It really has.
Next thing's next, real quick. Let's talk about the recruitment these days.
Obviously, I need you to roll the rest of that tape because I got to see that.
You got to see that? Here, hold up. Oh, not this one. Wrong one.
Oh, boy.
My bad. Rookie mistake. There we
go. Yeah, there's a play on there that's coming up here in a second, and it's a matrix play to me. Like, that's a matrix play. Like, what are you doing, bro? Oh, which one is this? Well, North Gwinnett was so happy when this game was over. They're like, bro, I'm so tired of number 2 right now. Oh, this is it right here. This is make believe. Back that up. That's not real. That was supposed to be a loss. Bam, bro. Come on. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. And that's not a nobody, by the way. That's a D1 kid coming off the edge. Cedar Grove is loaded. One of our viewers. Yes, Jeremiah, you're not just one of our viewers. That's one of our good friends, Jeremiah. He came to the Beaufort game to watch you play. So he's a real one.
Yeah, I mean, I know we started it off. I think it was the second clip. It was you running through like a group of like 7 guys. I don't know if it's on here, and maybe that was it, and I just wasn't paying attention. You had a very similar run against Beaufort. I don't know. I forget if you. I think you might have scored off of it, but there was one point where I just visibly remember it, and it's obviously wet conditions because it was raining that night. You're in like a group, and I don't even see you, and then all of a sudden, a few seconds later, there you are sprinting up the sideline. I'm like, how in the heck did he emerge from that pile?
I just don't stop my feet. My feet don't stop until I'm on the ground. So
let's talk a little bit about this college recruiting. So, everybody's journey is different, right? Obviously, like when I got recruited, it was like so long ago, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
But so the one thing I will say is you do have an built-in advantage at Mill Creek because there's so many guys, right? And you've been surrounded by so many talented guys. They can help you navigate through this because they can tell you this is what happened to me. So you've been going through this, and I will say you probably are not short on opinions. Everybody's got opinions, right? But this is something that's very personal. You have to figure it out for yourself. But just kind of walk us through how you and your family have navigated the recruiting process, whether it be taking advice, learning from other guys, just the whole gamut, the whole thing. How has the Robinson family come together and navigated this? It's a big question.
Yeah. I mean, it's very new to us because I think I'm the first one in my family to be getting athletic scholarships. So it was all new. So when I have coaches texting me, I might text Trajan or Caleb for advice. My mom might text Caleb's dad for advice. So I had a really great support system around me to help me through this journey. It was all very new to us, but once we got the groove of it, then I mean, it was pretty much simple for us.
So are you still reaching out to people to try to get your name out there, or has it picked up? Because I know it started slow for you, and I know it was frustrating for you.
Yeah.
And gosh almighty, I know, like, it's frustrating for me too, because I see what you can do.
Right.
So is it starting to pick up? Are you starting to get out there in front of more people? Just where are you at right now?
Yeah, I would say I'm starting to get out there, but I would say I was starting to get out there, but it wasn't like I don't really know how to answer this question.
It's been a slow burn.
Yeah, it's been a slow burn. Like 1 week is here, next week another week is here, so it's just a downhill with my recruiting process.
All right.
What's your favorite moment from Jeremiah? What's your favorite moment during the recruiting process?
My favorite moment during the recruiting process is obviously getting on campus, seeing how it is, seeing the personalities of picturing myself in this campus and seeing myself there for the next 4 years, seeing the players, seeing how they bond together, knowing that there's players all around the country and it's just like a big family, like they've known each other their whole lives. That's probably my favorite moment of the recruiting process.
So I have a question that's not on the list, and this is just something that I thought of while we were just talking. So, you see a lot of guys, and obviously not naming any guys or anything like that, but you see a lot of guys going on visits that don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're never going to play there. So, like, in your opinion, this is just your opinion, do you think it's more beneficial to go to all sorts of places, even if that's not a real place to go, just so you get the experience? Or do you think you should really focus on what's real?
I mean, I think most people should focus on what's real. Most people should go in depth and see if I go to the school, where would I be on the depth chart? That's where I got some mentoring from Caleb and Trajan and all of them in their recruiting process. They said, if you like the school, go for it, see where you fall in their depth chart, because they said if it was them, they wouldn't want to go to a college and just sit there for 3 years and then get their opportunity their senior year. They want to go to a college that's going to make them better, but also give them a good enough shot to get on the field and prove themselves on Saturdays.
I like that.
Cam, before we wrap all this up, and we appreciate your time, dude. Really, really appreciate it. It's been real fun. Obviously, let's talk about real quick before we get to the last ones. Like, what's kind of the schools you're looking at? I know you told us you don't plan to sign here in the early national signing day. Where are you at right now? Doesn't need to be a list of top schools or anything like that. What's the schools that you maybe just have your eye on at the moment?
I have my eye on Division II schools because those are the schools that are really putting the effort into me, making me feel wanted, and making me feel wanted. So I'm really looking at Division II schools right now. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. Division II D1 FCS. I'm not really too much thinking about the Power 5 Group of 5 schools because with the whole transfer portal and everything, that's really kind of out the picture. So,
well, and that's one of the things that we've talked about on the show, and now we actually get an opportunity to show you firsthand. Coach Lovelady talked about this, and plenty of other high school coaches. When I was working Friday nights doing a high school radio, a lot of them talk about the same thing: is that the COVID year and the NIL and the portal have really hurt the high school athlete. It's not the college athletes that are being affected. Right. It's really the high school athletes. And I believe high school scholarships for seniors are down 45%.
Yeah.
So that is a massive number. Not quite half, but 45% is a massive number. And it affects guys like Cam here where, you got to hustle, man. It's not like it used to be where they would just come to you. It's like now you have to really go fight for your spot.
Right. But I'm just blessed because there are some kids that are still waiting to get one offer.
Sure.
Like, I have a handful of offers with people that really want me to go to their school, and there's always one kid maybe even on my team or at a different program that's just waiting to get one offer. It doesn't matter if it's JUCO, Division III, Division II. So I'm very blessed to have an opportunity to play football at the next level.
Final question for me, and then we'll see if Dan has one more. If not, we'll wrap it up. What is your advice to the next generation of high school football players, middle school? Like, if you could only say a few things to someone who wants to be in your shoes in the next few years, what would it be?
I would say trust the process. If you're not taking out time in your day to make yourself better, then why do you think you should be getting recruited? If you're not training on the off season, working on your craft, working on little things that need to get improved on, why do you think you should be getting recruited? So it's all more about a motivation, a mindset thing towards the game of football. If you really want the game that bad, then you'll make it happen. If you really want to go D1, you're gonna make it happen. So
I'm gonna finish with a fun question. So, everybody always talks about NFL, right?
Yeah.
Everybody talks about NFL. Like, when you go back and you look at all the people you play with, very rarely do you ever come across or cross paths with the guys who get NFL.
Right.
There's a chance that you played with on your team at least one guy who's definitely going to go to the NFL, barring injury, right? So we know Caleb Downs is that dude, right? We know Greg is that dude. We know you're that guy. Then you got a team loaded full of people. So I'm not going to put you on a spot like that way. But so not including a teammate, what's a guy that you played against or watched play in a game that you were playing in where you're like, damn, that guy's for real? Like, who is that guy to you? Like, out of all the people you've played against, because almost every single game you've played have had D1 guys in it on the other side. What's one guy that just really jumped off the page where you're like, my God?
Edric Houston.
Oh, yeah, defensive tackle Buford.
His motor is crazy. Just
crazy.
It's very crazy. Edric Houston.
And you played against Travis Hunter, so that's saying something.
Yeah, he's a freak.
My goodness. Listen, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming to do this.
Yes,
you
sir.
didn't have to. And this is the first time that we've done it with a in studio with a local guy. So we hope you really enjoyed this. We hope you get something out of it. Again, bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. Have a Merry Christmas, brother.
You too.
And continued success. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Cam, we appreciate you so much. Like we said, you're the first high school prospect we've had in here. So this is really special. It's, we started it with the right one. We picked the right one to start us off. Before you go, real quick, fun last segment, blind draft. Dan,
oh my gosh, you're gonna do it!
I just threw one on the spot.
Okay.
So here's how it works, Cam. Each week, whether it's the off season or regular season, we stopped during the regular season because there's a lot of content. Dan and I will switch between who gives it. You come up with like a thing, like just a simple topic, like maybe 5 or 6, and you say, all right, you're going to rank these, but you don't know what's coming next.
Oh.
So here's what we're doing. We're doing NFL running backs, and you're going to rank them 1 through 5, but you don't know who's next.
Okay.
So here we go. Christian McCaffrey.
1.
Saquon Barkley.
3.
Nick Chubb.
Before injury 2.
Bijan Robinson.
The Falcons really haven't given him the ball enough to prove himself. So I'll put him at 5.
Last one, DeAndre Swift.
4.
All right. So
how you say how you feel about that? About your rankings? How you feel you did?
So you have McCaffrey, you have Chubb pre-injury. Then you had, who did he have at 3?
I would switch DeAndre Swift and Nick Chubb. I mean, I'll switch DeAndre Swift and Saquon.
So you would have Swift at 3, Saquon at 4,
Yeah,
and Bijan at 5.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. He tries to get me with this stuff, bro. Like, he'll put in a guy. He tries to get me every time. I like that. I think we can be happy with that.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Yeah. Anyways, Cam, we appreciate you, my man. We wish you the best of luck and all the things to come. Definitely gonna be keeping up with everything you're doing. Can't wait to see what God has in store for you here in the next few months. We wish you the best of luck. Congrats on a heck of a high school career, by the way, man. Heck of a high school career. You were named, I believe, Mill Creek's Offensive Player of the Year this year. So congrats on that one. Before we wrap it up, Dan and I will be back 7:30 live here tonight for the Top podcast. Obviously, George has had a lot of great news. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us, asking Cam questions. Yes, it was actually awesome. Cam did a great job. Hopefully, it's like media training for you, man.
Cam,
for the next level.
Where can people follow you?
Twitter, Instagram. I can't really give him my TikTok because
yeah, no. His Instagram is it's C-Rob, but it's C and 3 E's, right?
3 E's, yes, sir.
C3 E's Rob is his Instagram, and then he's Cam Robinson 9 on Twitter. But get on there, follow him. Let's get him some hype, and make sure you guys follow him and support him in his career.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, Cam. We will see you. Best of luck here in the future. Can't wait to see what you do at the next level, man. Hey, for everybody here at the Top podcast, for Cam Robinson, for Dan Kiley, for Harrison Reno, we'll see you back, I guess, later tonight here at 7:30.